Hey, what's going on, guys? I wanted to make this video today. I'm talking about deloads because this is a question that I get asked a lot, and this is something that is really important to do with your training. So basically, the reason deloads, the biggest question I get with them, are they necessary? And I would say that it depends on the person. So for the average general population, they don't train hard enough or long enough with consistent enough overload training for deloads to actually be warranted or needed. In order to deload, you need to have several weeks of structured overload training where you are getting stronger and you are, getting better week to week. Now, unfortunately, we can't get stronger indefinitely over time. We run into issues with the form of fatigue built up. So basically, as we get stronger over time, the longer that we overload, the more that we train, the more of a debt we incur with our training. So, and that's with fatigue. And then what that basically means, it's going to become progressively harder and harder to adapt. Some signs of needing a deload would be you have disturbed sleep. You're starting to get joint pain. You're feeling more tired in everyday life. And then weights that normally are pretty manageable start to feel heavier than normal. You notice you have less energy to train. You have some mood disturbances. You might be more cranky. These are all signs of needing a deload, and it's a normal part of overload training. And so basically, I get asked a lot, when should I deload? How should I deload? Should I do it planned or not? Should I do it reactively with my training? And I want to first address, should it be planned or should it be reactive? For everybody, I recommend doing a planned holy cow, sorry, a planned deload. And the reason why I recommend doing planned deloads instead of just auto-regulatory deloads is because typically by the time that you're like, oh crap, I need to deload, it's too late and you should have already deloaded. Because by definition, if you are saying that, oh crap, I literally, I need to deload or else, I just can't overload, there's no way, you are past the point of needing a deload. You have already overreached. So, for our purposes, what overreaching is basically, so you have different ways of overload, right? So you have one, which is going to be planned overload, basically the week to week, adding 5 to 10 pounds to your lifts without any issues. Then you're going to have not functional overreaching, which is planned and should be done prior to a deload. Functional overreaching is basically doing a planned increase in volume and intensity right before a deload week. And the reason why we do that is because there's some evidence, although it is limited, that if you do a little bit more, your body will super compensate basically, and you'll be able to get stronger than you normally would. And that's kind of the whole concept behind a peak/taper. So that's the reason why, that's basically functionally overreaching. So let's say you normally, overload training, you're doing, you go from a 3x8 to a 4x8 to a 5x8 to a 6x8. That 6x8, you know that you can't recover from, so then you plan a deload out after that, and so that's functional overreaching. The problem with not planning your deloads is that you kind of switch into that non-functional overreaching, which takes longer to get better from. You're set up needing 1 week to recover. You might need 10 to 14 days before you can actually start overload training again. So we deload to reduce fatigue so that we can allow overload training to occur again and happen. Then we also deload just so that we can allow for some for muscular healing, for neural healing, to allow your nervous system to kind of come back, and to basically reduce chance of injury with repeated microtrauma on joints and structures. If you don't deload, essentially your body will, for you, either really bad training That's non-functional overreaching, basically, for an extended period of time, or you're going to run into an injury, and those take even longer. So, plan out your deloads. Don't skip them. If you skip them, you're going to really regret it, and you're going to end up wasting time. Remember that this weight training thing is a marathon and not a sprint. So taking deloads is a part of the process. And we know you're hardcore. You want to train hard all the time, like we all do. Unfortunately, we're not machines as much as we want to think that we are, and we do need to take these measures to manage the fatigue. Properly planned programming will have periods of functional overreaching followed by a deload week. So I want to just kind of dive into like how I structure a deload and when I implement them into client plans. So basically, I will do them once every 4 to 7 weeks, depending on the experience level of the lifter. And generally, it's going to be like once every 4 to 5 weeks. Just because I only will do like a 7-week or a 6-week to a paradigm training accumulation block where we are overload training. If it's a very novice lifter who's very, very weak, or like a female. Typically, I find that 4 to 5 weeks is generally the sweet spot, and I gravitate towards 4 weeks for most lifters, just because I find that 5 weeks just isn't. That 5th week doesn't really get much benefit, but it has to do with a lot of gained experience, training time. Let's say as a general guideline, if you're a true novice beginner, probably deload once every 5 to 7 weeks. If you are a intermediate to an advanced lifter, I would go around once every 4 to 5 weeks. And then so basically the main purpose of a deload is to reduce fatigue from overload training, so that we can allow overload training to occur, and then reduce chance of injury. Everything I said before. So basically, what should a deload look like? How hard should it be? How much volume should I do? First off, I didn't write this down, but I recommend sticking as close as possible to your normal training split that you are doing during your normal training block, just because it's going to help your body recover. Some training, some movement is going to help facilitate recovery better than just taking a rest day, like a full week off. Both approaches will reduce fatigue, but the advantages of doing some work is that you'll be able to still have blood flow to the muscles, so basically that will enhance some nutrient partitioning. The nutrients that you will get to the muscle help repair the muscle faster. You'll also be able to maintain the technical prowess and the fitness a little bit better. Basically, the ability to perform the movements efficiently and to still be able to, I guess, feel in tune with the lift and allow for more recovery to take place. And then so basically it should be about 70% of normal overload intensity that you use basically on the overreaching week. And then 50 to 70% of normal training volume. So an example of what that would look like to be what I kind of want to put right here. So let's say you're doing a 3x8 on your bench press with 200 pounds. And then so basically that was your overreaching week. That was what you did. You would reduce that to a 2x8 with 140 pounds. Remember, it should feel easy. If you're coming out of the gym on your deload week feeling like you got a good productive overload training session, you probably didn't do a deload workout. A deload workout should make you feel like a pansy, but realize that if you're truly dedicated to your craft, and if you really do want to get better, you will take your deloads. You will practice this discipline to accomplish the long-term goal. Like I said again earlier, this is a marathon, not a sprint. I really think that's basically a very simple way of why we deload, how to deload, and so yeah. If you guys have any questions, drop a comment down below, and then follow me on Instagram. Share the video with a friend, and then if you guys want coaching programs, for a meal plan, link down below. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Catch you in the next one.